Yes, my name is Andrenia Sylvia Walker. Everyone calls me Dina. That's what I'm best known as.
Dina, wonderful. And when were you born and where?
I was born in 1969 here in Washington, D.C. at the, Columbia Hospital for Women. That's what it was, Columbia Hospital for Women.
Sure, I remember that. That place. It's not there anymore, is it?
No.
When did you move to Greenleaf?
My family moved to Greenleaf in the spring of 1976. I believe I was in the third grade then, so that tells you how old I am. But yeah, third grade.
Where did you move here from?
We moved from B Street. It was a housing development right behind Howard University. So we moved. I believe it's Kelly Miller that's across the street. I didn't know it then, but I believe that's what it is. So right behind Howard University, Detroit Park.
So obviously you were pretty young at that time.
Very young.
You recall any impressions you had of Greenleaf at that time?
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's a little early. Where did you go to school?
I attended Holy Redeemer Parish School on New Jersey Avenue, Northwest. So I didn't attend the local schools in the neighborhood because my mom worked in public schools, so she decided to put my sister and I in Catholic school. And they didn't have charter schools back then, so that's where we went to Catholic
From what
school.
to what?
From kindergarten to 12th grade.
Oh, the whole time. All right. And just can I get just a little bit of your family's work history and what did your parents do? And
my mother was a substitute teacher at the public schools. She went all around, and that's primarily what she did. My father died when I was 3, but he worked doing asphalt, paving the roads, and in fact, he died from the asbestos at the time, and no one had protections for them. But yeah, he died when I was very, very young, 3 years old. Yeah.
And what kind of work do you do?
Right now, I used to be in banking and finance, so I was doing investments and making money for everyone. So that's my background, finance. So right now, I'm dedicating all of my time to being the president of this resident council.
Okay. And tell me about your feelings about Greenleaf. Do you feel a sense of community here?
I definitely feel a sense of community here. For example, when we have a gathering, everyone comes out to support. If there's a child at school and the parent can't make it home to get the child in time, all you have to do is call a neighbor. They'll go pick your child up, keep your child in their house until you get home. If someone strange knocks on your door and your neighbors know you're not home, they may either just tell that person, oh, that person's not home, and they'll let you know. Someone came to your door. You don't know who that person was, but we look out for each other in that way. You know, we epitomize, I believe, what community is. I really do. That means that we get together. If one person's having a cookout, we can walk past their house, we can get a plate to eat with no problem. You know, so, and we always going to feed the children no matter what. So if the child sees you cooking, you have food out there, and they ask someone for a plate, they can get it. So that is family. It's family. And one thing about, I always stress this to people when they say, well, Southwest so little and, you know, is kind of meaningless. No, it's not, because when people move away from this community, they can be gone 5 years. Everyone comes back to this neighborhood just to visit or just to hang out. So it's so tight-knit that there's always going to be someone, even though we have people moving in and out, there's always going to be 5 or 10 families that are basically mainstays here that people are going to remember. Oh, I remember you were a little kid. And they always come back to visit. And I don't know a lot of neighborhoods that people do that, because most neighborhoods now are very transient, where you don't know your neighbor. But everyone knows everyone. If someone gets sick, we all know about it. You know, we don't know your mother or father. If they pass away, the community's attending that funeral because we know you. So we're supportive in so many ways, in the community familial way, you know? So, yeah.
What's missing from the community? Because it sounds like it definitely has a lot going for it.
It does. It's more of it that we can share that with the greater community, meaning the people that live outside of our perimeter, outside of public housing, where we are what makes Southwest is diverse. However, that diversity does not merge. If there's events that happen, for example, they have different art festivals, for some reason our community feels like they're not a part of that. So they don't attend those events. When they have Christmas lights on the down the waterfront, our residents don't go, my residents don't attend that. For example, we just did something in the little park. Our residents didn't attend. The children will wander around. Whenever they see people, they'll go. But the adults tend to just stay. We just stay with it. Well, they just stay in this community. Even we have a large recreation center right across the street. Not many people will walk over there. So I don't know why, and that's something I'm trying to figure out. Why we don't. Well, I understand why they don't communicate with the greater community. I say people that surround us, because they don't feel like they're a part of Southwest. They feel like we're just something here, not part of the full community. And my goal is to change that, slowly but surely, to get them more involved. When we have community meetings, that they're part of this community too. It affects us all. And the only difference between us and them, maybe it's because the housing is funded by the public, but we don't know if they're receiving subsidies either. But I think there's just a stigma. People just have a feeling like, oh, that we're not a part of that. We're different. But we all have the same issues in general, but they're not ready to be exposed to them. I don't think it's because it has been brought to them. They feel like everyone else looks down on them. So it's sort of like an inferiority complex that many residents have.
Well, let me ask you, because my next question was about the surrounding community. So, I mean, do people have a reason to feel that way? I mean, because there are differences between the people here and the surroundings. So how do those differences meld?
First, of course, they don't meld, and I had some people tell me once I became president that, because I attended a lot of meetings, they asked me where I'm from, I tell them, well, we would like to, get to know your community and things like that. And I'm like, we've been here for a long time, and nothing has ever happened that way. And I could try to analyze it, and I can go back and forth about it. I think a lot of times it's a racial issue. Not to pull the race card, but because the people who are surrounding the neighborhood, they're not, most of them are not people of color. The majority of them are not. We make up the most people of color in the community, the whole community. So
in the whole Southwest.
The whole Southwest. There's never been a big event where we're all together. It's just a Southwest event. It's always just been, like I said, they have their arts fest. They have different things that we're not notified of them. We're not included. I'll just put it that way. We're not included. That's it. That's how simply, if they want to have us involved, we're just not included. But there's I guess the connotation when you hear public housing, that there's drugs, there's bad things, and maybe people feel like, I don't want to get too close because I don't want those people to know me. I don't want them to know too much about my personal business. So that's it. It's divided like that. It's economic status, really. I think the differences, and they do know. Residents here know that there's a difference. If that's the one difference, it's they have more money than we do. So.
Well, given what you're saying, can you point to specific examples of people being stereotyped to live here? Or people
I can
being
give you a
discriminated?
perfect one. When our children go to the CVS store around 3 o'clock, they will not allow more than 2 in. And when they allow 2 in, they have to place their book bags at the door. And that's outright discrimination. They do it. And that's just a pure sign that that's happening. They cannot come into the store. Okay, some children may be rambunctious, but if that's the case, just have extra security if you need to around that time, to make sure that everything is going smoothly in the store. But to make them put their book bags down and only 2 of you come, these children may not realize it, but they're being discriminated against. I don't think their parents are aware of it. They may go home and tell their parents, but maybe not. But that's the most outright discrimination that I have observed, and I've observed it a couple of times. I'm thinking, so I got to talk to someone and say, they're actually, well, we know they're discriminating against them, but they're experiencing that at such a young age, and I plan to do something about it. Because, wow, it's just, and the more I think about it, the more it hurts than I'm thinking about it. But that's just one example. There is, let's see, what else is this? The gates. There's the communities, they have a nickname for the high rises over there. They call it the Lost World, because there's so many ins and outs. And I say over 25 years ago, it used to be open. I guess, I don't know what caused them to do this. I think because children will wander through there. They put up gates. They put up gates around their property. Everywhere, if you think about it, now that I'm thinking about it, right across the street where I am now, there is a wall, a brick wall. And if you see when the building was built, we were here first. This property was here first. And in the beginning, that place did not have that brick wall. In fact, the brick doesn't even match the building. They erected that wall all the way around. And they put a gate on K Street going up the part of K Street around that building. The building behind us, all of them had gates. And I can remember when there weren't no gates. So that to me, if we were living in some other neighborhood, if this was a different type of neighborhood, those gates would not be there. I think. So that's just another one. There are probably a lot more, but those are the main two that I can recall. When they go into the store, it's just different. So.
What are your feelings and thoughts about the development currently taking place?
For this property, the planning of the development?
Well, the overall. I mean, not this one.
Okay, just overall development for DC Public Housing?
Southwest.
Southwest?
Yes.
Well, they're targeting the Greenleaf properties, which is the Greenleaf Gardens Extensions, which is here, the senior building, and the mid-rise. What I feel they need to do before they think about moving anyone is to repair what's broken. And people are living in these houses with so many structural problems. People are living with, in their kitchen, if you look up in their kitchen ceiling, the pipes exposed. And it takes forever for someone to get rid of that. And I know they would not like to live that way. The residents are living that way. They're living with mice. They're living with a lot of rats out in their backyards. It's just their quality of life is not what it should be. You're paying rent. I know some people beg that everyone swears that public housing residents do not pay rent. They do. We have some residents paying like $1,100 or more. A lot of people in public housing do work. It's housing for low-income people, and I always say everyone's not going to be wealthy. You need a place for people who are low income to live. A lot of people also say, well, public housing was meant to be a temporary thing. It's not meant for someone to live forever. But some people will never be wealthy. So where you have people who don't have a high income live. So my thoughts on the redevelopment, it would definitely be different. I don't want it to happen. I would like for them to say, we're going to fix these places up. There's no guarantee that the people that they're moving out, they're displacing, are going to come back.
Let me get more specific, because that question was about development.
Right, development.
The demolishing of the Greenleaf development. What are your feelings about that?
I don't think it should be demolished. I believe it should be rehabbed. Because if they demolish it, there will be no more Greenleaf. This won't happen. So, rehabilitation, to me, is the way to go. They have a lot of services in DCHA that residents can utilize to help them become self-sufficient. It doesn't mean self-sufficient to the point you're going to go out and be a homeowner. Everyone's not going to be a homeowner. But to improve the quality of life while they're here. So I believe that they should rehabilitate these places. People are living in them while they're just, going down, down the drain, literally, inside, the structural and everything. And the housing authority will say that they don't want to throw good money after bad, that remodeling these places won't do any good, but they did James Creek that way many years ago. In fact, they moved a lot of people from James Creek over here while they remodeled their places, and that's just right 2 blocks away from us, that public housing development. So I don't understand why they can't do it now. And I don't know. I just feel like they need to definitely not demolish it. No, because a lot of people, even if the surrounding community think it's okay, it's going to increase the density so bad. I mean, we're talking about other development that's coming, the stadium. It's going to be crazy if they do put more people in a neighborhood where the services are limited. Of course, services may or may not come. Just like when they moved the Waterside Mall. Bank of America did not move back down here. The only place that relocated back down here was CVS. And from what I understand, the rents were so high, it's no guarantee you build this place up that retail and everything is going to come. Whoever owns owns the property in the buildings, if they want the rent to be sky high, you're not going to get a lot of retail, like say building they will come. Not necessarily. So my main point is that they should not demolish. They should provide housing. The DC Housing Authority, their mission is to house people, and that's just it. So I don't think that Greenleaf should not be torn down.
Do you have any thoughts on what people can do, what role residents can play to push back, to prevent themselves from being displaced, and to encourage the kind of development that people need, not just for upper income people? What role can the common resident play?
The role that the common resident can play in making sure that the policymakers know their importance in this whole development process is to be more engaged, civically engaged, to be out at the meetings, protesting if they have to, learning the facts, demanding the truth, demanding them to show you, yes, this worked here in this city and it's working. Really just be involved, ask the questions, push back. It's like, okay, just like if someone's trying to cheat you out your money in the store, you're going to go off. The same here, because getting your change from someone in the store, you can kind of blow that off, but having a roof over your head, you got to fight for that. So they need to be more civically engaged, knowing whenever there's a hearing, come out, learn. And my goal, along with Power UC, they help to organize. Residents, they need to know their rights. That they do have rights. It's not just, okay, they can tell you what to do, because if it weren't for public housing, many people would not be employed. So once they get rid of all public housing, where would those people work? So we serve a purpose, so I believe that we need to become more civically engaged. Our voices need to be heard. So when they're talking about public housing residents, they got a public housing resident or 10 up there saying, okay, well, look, I'm a public housing resident. This is how I feel. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Is there anything that you'd like to add?
I'm happy that we're doing this project. Very pleased. And I hope that we continue to make history, public housing history, because it's needed. So, you'll be seeing more from us. Check back in about, I would say, 3 years. See where we are. We're going to continue forward to make it happen. Build a better tomorrow for our residents.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.